Students, we are going to start a new chapter. In this video sessions, we will be learning about moving charges and magnetism, which is part of class 12 syllabus. So as in the last chapters, we individually have learned what is electric current and electrostatics. But the discoveries had made there is a relation between moving charge and as well as magnetism. In olden days, it was supposed that magnetism and electricity are two separate branches of physics. It was considered electricity is separate branch and magnetism is a separate branch. But by Oersted experiment, it has concluded that magnetism and electricity origin from same effects. So magnetism originates from moving charges. Therefore, from Oersted experiment, we are going to see, like after Oersted experiment, it has been confirmed that moving charges will produce magnetism. Therefore, electricity plus magnetism are combined branch of physics called electromagnetism. It is said to be electromagnetism, or we even call it as electrodynamics. So in this chapter, we will learn the effects of moving charges, how they produce magnetism. So to start with, we will begin with Oersted experiment and how did he conduct experiment, what are the conclusions from Oersted experiment. We'll study. Observe the animation which is playing on the screen. There is a magnetic compass within the animation and there is a circuit. We have a wire and along with that there is a battery and you have a connection. That wire is being joined with a jockey or a metal plate. Now there are two wires here. The person is joining the two wires. When two wires are joined, the current is flowing through the circuit. When the current is flowing through the circuit, you are able to see that there is a slight deflection in the magnetic compass which is placed below the wire, which is called current carrying conductor. So within the circuit, when you are making the circuit, current is flowing through this copper wire, and when current is flowing, and remember that it is not laminated copper wire, it is open. There is no plastic material. You are not insulating the copper wire. You are just taking copper wire as it is and placing it in between two terminals, positive and negative terminals, which are connected to the battery, and you are joining those two, anode and cathode. As a result, electric current is flowing through this copper wire which is not laminated with plastic. Because of that, the magnetic compass is undergoing some deflection. You are able to see that clearly in the animation. The magnetic deflection is observed only if there is magnetic field produced over there. The magnetic compass will show magnetic deflection if and only if there is magnetic field. But you can see that there are no magnets nearby. Nearby this experiment, we are not having any magnets. Even though when you are touching the two wires, the magnet is undergoing deflection, it means that this current carrying conductor might produce magnetic fields. So this is the Oersted experiment conducted by Oersted, and there are few conclusions from Oersted experiment. What are those conclusions? Observe it. In the first thing, the current carrying wire is surrounded by a magnetic field that was confirmed by deflection of the magnetic compass. And this was first discovered by Ørsted, and hence this is called magnetic effect of electric current. Magnetic effects are produced by electric current carrying conductors. And the magnetic lines of force due to current carrying conductor lie in the plane perpendicular to the conductor. That means if you have current carrying conductor in this direction, the magnetic field is produced perpendicular to this like this. Likewise, if there is current carrying conductor in this direction, the magnetic field of lines are produced perpendicular to current carrying conductor. This is magnetic field produced, this is magnetic field produced, and this is current carrying conductor. Current in this conductor is I. So magnetic lines of force are always perpendicular to the plane of conductor. That's number one. And next thing is the field due to current carrying conductor is non-uniform. That is both in magnitude and as well as direction. The magnetic field produced here is non-uniform magnetic field, right? So one point by point, each and every point about Ørsted experiment's conclusion, we will discuss now one by one. Pay attention. From Ørsted experiment, these are the conclusions which we are able to learn. The first thing is that magnetic compass deflects only due to magnetic fields which are produced by current carrying conductors. And the second thing is the direction of magnetic field changes with direction of current in the conductor. If current is clockwise, deflection will be in anti-clockwise. If current is anti-clockwise, deflection will be in clockwise, vice versa. And the strength of magnetic field depends upon strength of the current. More is the current passing through, more will be the magnetic field produced. And as you are moving away from the conductor, magnetic strength decreases. As you are coming closer, magnetic field increases. And the last one is the direction of deflection is given by Ampere swimming rule. These are the conclusions which are produced from Ørsted experiment, which confirms that magnetic fields are also associated with moving charges. How much amount of current flowing through the conductor, depending upon that, there will be magnetic fields produced around that current carrying conductor. As we have discussed that the direction of magnetic compass is decided by Ampere swimming rule. And Ampere swimming rule gives the direction of deflection of magnetic compass. See, this is magnetic compass. It is North Pole and this is South Pole. And these are geographical directions: north, south, east and west. The motion of the person represents current carrying conductor. Motion of the person is going north, therefore current is going northward. And the deflection of magnetic compass for this current carrying conductor will be towards north direction, right? So if the current carrying conductor is placed northward, the deflection is made like this. This is the deflection which is observed, which represents the direction of motion of the hands of the person. And number two, it is that the current direction is reversed. If current direction is reversed, the deflection of magnetic compass is being reversed and the north is showing in opposite direction to that of previous case. This is in case of normal swimming. And in the backstroke swimming, when the person is moving backward, the direction of current is represented by motion of the person and the direction of hands represents the direction of magnetic compass. The motion of left hand represents North Pole and the motion of left hand here represents North Pole. As the current direction is reversed, the deflection of compass is also being reversed. So remember that motion of person, motion of swimmer represents direction of current and motion of hands of the swimmer represents deflection of magnetic compass. So deflection of direction of magnetic compass is represented by motion of the person, hands of the swimmer. This is Ampere swimming rule. Right. Ampere swimming rule gives the deflection of magnetic compass, whereas Maxwell corkscrew rule or Ampere right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule gives the direction of magnetic field. So remember that magnetic compass deflection is given by swimming rule, but the direction of magnetic field is not given by swimming rule. The direction of magnetic field is given by Maxwell corkscrew rule or Ampere right hand thumb rule. Any of these two rules can be used in order to find out the direction of magnetic field. Now corkscrew rule, this is one which shows this is a cork screw. So the motion of the screw represents current direction and the motion of the fingers represents magnetic field. So this is magnetic field direction and this is current direction. Likewise, right hand thumb rule states that the thumb which is pointing along the direction of current. This thumb gives the direction of magnetic field, and the curling forefingers, these curling forefingers represents direction of magnetic field. So any of these two rules can be used in order to find out net magnetic field. Now let us demonstrate the directions of magnetic field. Now I am considering this is current carrying conductor. Okay. Now current carrying conductor is right side. So in order to find out its direction of magnetic field, you place your thumb in the direction of current. So this thumb finger is represented in the direction of current, and the four fingers which are here, those four fingers are showing towards my face. Therefore, above this thumb, the four fingers are showing towards my face. Therefore, the magnetic field above the current carrying wire will be outward from the plane of the screen. So here it will be outward and here it will be into. Therefore, magnetic field lines are represented in this direction. From above the current carrying conductor, magnetic field lines coming outside, and from below the current carrying conductor, magnetic field will be inside, going into. And remember that if this become north pole and this becomes south pole, that depends upon from which view you are observing. Okay, so magnetic field lines always start from north and enter towards the south. So as magnetic fields are coming out from the above, I am considering it as north, and it is entering into the south. So this into mark I am representing it as south. So above the wire, if it is acting as north, below the wire it acts as the south. Likewise, let me show you one more example. This is current carrying conductor and current is going upward. So in order to find out magnetic field due to this current carrying conductor, put your thumb above, right? Thumb represents the current direction, and the four fingers, these four fingers are facing towards my side, and those four fingers are left side of the thumb. 4 fingers are left side of the thumb. As a result, left side of the current carrying conductor, the magnetic field is pointed towards my side, and right side it is towards your side. So if it is right side, you need to show the current direction like this. This is the thumb finger. Thumb finger is representing current direction, and right side of the current carrying conductor, these 4 fingers are towards your side. So right side of the current carrying conductor, magnetic field is inside towards you, and if it is left side, it is my side. Therefore here it is out, and here it is into. Check it up once again. This is into. These 4 lines, right side to the current carrying conductor, it is that side, and left side towards the current carrying conductor, it is facing, these 4 fingers are facing my side, my word. That's the reason why it is into. This into and out, this you can consider it as north, and this you can consider it as south. Okay. Likewise, if you are taking current carrying conductor in this direction, this is current carrying conductor I, right? Now as the wire is a slant, it is making some angle theta with x-axis. Magnetic field also makes some angle theta with y-axis, because magnetic field is always perpendicular to the current carrying conductor. Observe how I am showing the directions. They are very, very important. Without identifying the directions, you cannot solve one single problem in this chapter. So identifying the direction of magnetic field is very important. For that, I always use right hand thumb rule. Don't go for corkscrew rule. I recommend you to use right hand thumb rule only. And don't fold your hand completely. Don't fold your hand completely. Just put these 4 fingers perpendicular to the current carrying conductor. Don't fold it completely. Thumb, and just make these 4 fingers perpendicular to your, this is current carrying conductor. These 4 fingers should be always perpendicular to this thumb finger. In that way, you just represent right hand rule. Now, current carrying conductor, it is exactly in this way. My finger, my thumb is representing current carrying conductor, and the 4 fingers which are pointed towards my side above the current carrying conductor. That is the reason why my thumb finger is showing in this direction, right? My thumb, and the 4 fingers are represented in this way, right? And these 4 fingers, they are showing towards my side. Towards my side, that is the reason why it is out from the plane. From the computer screen, you should imagine that magnetic field lines are coming outside, and here it will be into. From the computer screen, magnetic field lines are going into. Therefore you can treat this as north pole, and you can treat this as south pole towards my side. Okay, and remember, north and south depends upon the reference frame which you are observing. Okay, so this is outward and this is into is represented with into mark. Clear? So these are the directions of magnetic field produced due to different current carrying conductors. Yeah, look here. From Oersted experiment, we have just learned that magnetic field is produced due to current carrying conductor. But how much magnetic field is produced, and what is its magnitude and its direction, those all could not be concluded from Oersted experiment. The directions of magnetic compass is given by swimming rule. The direction of magnetic field is given by right hand thumb rule, and the magnitude of magnetic field produced due to current carrying conductor is given by Biot-Savart law. Biot-Savart law gives magnitude of magnetic field produced due to current carrying conductor. Right? So the magnetic field produced due to current carrying conductor, magnitude is obtained by Biot-Savart law. And remember, if you are taking current carrying conductor, this is long wire. You are taking this wire is long wire. Okay. Because of the total wire, we are not calculating magnetic field due to Biot-Savart law. We will consider one reference point, and that reference point we will take very small element here. This is the element which we are considering. This is very small element of the wire. Right? Total length is L, but this element length, it is a DL. I am considering the element length is DL, and in this DL element length, current is going in this direction. The direction of current, it is DL bar and I. Right? So at any particular point, if you want to find out direction of the element DL, you just draw a tangent to that particular point. It gives the direction of element DL. Now, because of this DL element, magnetic field will be obviously produced perpendicular to that. So therefore, magnetic field is produced somewhere at this position, right? And I am considering magnetic field is produced at this position. And remember that these two are perpendicular. Theta is equal to 90 degrees. I want to now find out magnetic field at this position. Because of this very small element, magnetic field produced is dB. Because of the total wire, it is B. But I am choosing only small element here. Because of that element, I am considering magnetic field as a dB. dB is the magnetic field produced over here. And this dB magnetic field produced is directly proportional to current in the conductor, I, and dB is inversely proportional to R cube, where R is the separation of the point where you are calculating magnetic field. And remember, R is perpendicular to plane of wire in this figure. So as R is perpendicular to the plane of wire, this is dB inversely proportional to R cube, and dB is directly proportional to dL bar cross R bar. Cross product of dl bar and as well as r bar, dB is directly proportional to this. So if I write these all combinedly, you can write dB is proportional to I into dl bar cross r bar divided by r cube. If I remove this proportionality, I should include a constant. That constant is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi I into dl bar cross r bar divided by r cube. This is the equation which gives the direction and as well as magnitude of the magnetic field produced due to current carrying conductor. I can now just write dl bar cross r bar is equal to dl into r into sine theta. Here theta is equal to 90 degrees. So I can write sine 90 is equal to 1. Therefore, dB is maximum. Right? If not, theta is not 90, then you need to write that theta as well. So this can be simply written as mu naught I divided by 4 pi into dl magnitude, r magnitude, sine theta divided by r cube. This r and this r gets cancelled, remained will be r square. Therefore, magnetic field dB is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi into dl sine theta divided by r square. This is the equation which gives magnitude of magnetic field, and this is the equation which gives direction and as well as magnitude of the magnetic field. This is the statement of Biot-Savart law. Very, very important conclusion. And you need to memorize this equation for solving problems. This is equation for dB, mu naught I by 4 pi dl sin theta, where theta is the angle between dl bar and r bar. Remember that theta is between dl bar and r bar. And mu naught is called magnetic permeability. It is called magnetic permeability of air. Mu naught is called magnetic permeability of air. Mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 power minus 7 Weber per meter square. This is equation for, like, it is the value of mu naught. It is 4 pi into 10 power minus 7. That's the unit of Weber per meter square is the unit of magnetic permeability. And this is for air medium. Remember that. If it is any other medium, you need to replace it with mu. dB is equal to mu I divided by 4 pi into dl sin theta divided by r square, where mu is permeability of medium. Okay, you can divide these two. dB dash divided by dB is equal to mu divided by mu naught, which is mu r, called relative permeability. Which is called relative permeability of medium. And mu r is a constant value. It has no unit because it is the ratio. So mu r is equal to mu divided by mu naught. From here you can write mu is equal to mu r into mu naught. This is one more conclusion which you can draw. And in order to find out net magnetic field, you can just integrate this dB, which is equal to mu naught I divided by 4 pi r square into integration dl into sin theta. Limits are from 0 to L. So in order to find out magnetic field due to total length of the wire, you can just integrate that dB value so that you will be getting net magnetic field. That's the advantage of Biot-Savart law. So first we will be calculating magnetic field due to small element, and then we will integrate for the total length. This gives you net magnetic field. Students, let me teach you how to take magnetic field, how to calculate magnetic field using Biot-Savart law, direction of magnetic field. Now this is dl bar, right? And the dl bar is exactly in the direction in which current passing through. This is the direction in which current is passing through. Exactly, it is the tangent to this dl element. So direction of dl bar and I is in the same direction. I want to now calculate magnetic field at this position, right? I want to find out magnetic field at this point. Okay. So in order to calculate magnetic field due to this position, see, this is the angle between r bar and dl bar. It is theta. Theta is not equal to 90 degrees. Okay. Of course, the magnitude of dB can be simply written as mu naught I divided by 4 pi into dl, whatever the length it is, dl, into sin theta, whatever the angle it is in between dl bar and r bar, you will be taking that here, and divided by r square. This gives you the magnitude of magnetic field. And the direction of magnetic field, direction is given by right hand thumb rule which we use for cross product, right? So dB bar is in the direction of DL bar cross R bar, right? DL bar cross R bar. So you should use right hand thumb rule, as because it is the cross product of DL bar and R bar. What you need to do is put your 4 fingers parallel to DL bar. Okay, you can like this is right hand rule, Ampere right hand rule. What I do, first these 4 fingers you should place parallel to DL bar, because first vector is DL. DL is in which direction? Upward. So I am considering this is a DL. So put your 4 fingers parallel to current carrying conductor, and I want to find out magnetic field at this position. At this position, I want to find out magnetic field at this point. At this point, I want to find out magnetic field. So for that, what I am doing? I am putting my 4 fingers parallel to first vector. Curl your 4 fingers towards the second vector. In which direction thumb is represented, that gives the magnetic field direction. So first 4 fingers I am putting parallel like this. First 4 fingers I am putting parallel to the DL bar, and I am curling my 4 fingers towards this R bar, and thumb is representing into your side. Okay, this thumb is represented towards your side. Therefore, the magnetic field at this position will be into, and magnetic field here will be outward. Okay, so DL bar cross R bar, just put your 4 fingers parallel to first vector, curl your 4 fingers towards the second vector. In which direction thumb will be there, that gives the direction of magnetic field. Okay, this is rule for right hand vector cross product rule. So put 4 fingers parallel to first vector, curl them towards second vector, direction of thumb gives B bar. So direction of magnetic field is obtained by thumb. This is as because it is cross product, and I suggest you don't use this. You can just use right hand thumb rule. Okay, current in which direction it is? Current is going upward. So put your thumb in the direction of current, and magnetic field. These 4 fingers represent magnetic field. So thumb, this is the current carrying conductor. So current is going in this direction, and this side fingers are pointed towards your side. Curling fingers are pointed towards your side. These 4 fingers. So therefore magnetic field should be like this, towards your side, in this direction. That is into. Already we have done that by Ampere right hand rule in the previous slide.